though you don't know the full story until the very end, you get the feeling he's going to end up in a place like this because of his obsessions and because of the dream sequences.
That's right. I mean, try not to give too much away
No.
about the ending. Were you surprised by the ending?
I had an inkling. I didn't try, like I said, I didn't try and do any of the puzzles, so that really helped. The revelation, I really liked. I really liked the revelation at the end. Well, not the end, but in the penultimate chapter. And what's really nice is it linked in with the very beginning, because throughout the entire book, I was going, well, the prologue doesn't fit with the story. So what's going on here? The final chapter, the very end of it, you can make up your own mind whether the thing that I believe happened or not, and whether it ends. It pretty much ends the way you want it to end. You can make that decision whether the negative or positive thing happened to Teddy. But I saw it as the negative thing, and it upset me quite dramatically.
But is it conclusive?
It's not conclusive.
Can you, by the end of the book, can you trust even the narrator?
See, I'm not sure who the narrator was, because the way it was written, you get the prologue from a character, but throughout the book, it seems to be from Teddy's point of view.
Almost like
and I think the end also
almost
bears
like
that
someone
as well.
who's detached from their own consciousness. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, well,
that he was almost like he was seeing himself doing things and therefore narrating it to the reader.
Yeah, I mean, if we gave away the story of what happens in this and what the plot is, I would go into what I actually believe it is, the narration now, because of the prologue and because of how it's said, there are certain things that I believe that are hard to explain. I mean, I would recommend you read the book and make up your own mind.
Yeah. And what was your favourite bit in the book? Was there a particular passage or?
I think there are a few things there are a few points that I really liked reading about and made me think. One was his references to his work during World War II, including the executions he took part in at Dachau,
which was particularly harrowing.
Which was harrowing, and the reason why I found that interesting is because, of course, throughout history we've wiped that information from our memories that the Americans and Allied soldiers did execute a lot of Nazis, and that makes them no worse than the people who are executing people from the Nazi side.
No. And was Teddy your favourite character?
No.
Did you relate to Teddy? Did you like Teddy?
I felt sorry for Teddy. From the beginning of the book, I felt sorry for Teddy because it was obvious that something had happened and the war had seriously screwed him up. And that this is a man who had gone out and just done what he had to do for his country, and again he's come home and he's got to try and live his life. He's got to readjust to his wife, to his job, do everything he needs to do to make it work. The other bits I liked him when he finally found one of the patients he was looking for, and he has that confrontation, and it's brilliant. It's fantastically written, and it shows how what one person says can be taken into a completely different context if you change the punctuation. And what's interesting is I don't know whether the punctuation in that part of the book is the same as when it's explained at the end or not, because the way I was reading it, I think, is the way that the author wanted me to read it, to put me off the scent of the surprise. The other thing I found interesting throughout the whole book was the feeling of it being a giant game of Cluedo. It really felt like a magnificent real life game of Cluedo going on. And I love those sorts of games. I love those sorts of books, and that's. It was a modern one. It wasn't not a modern one, but an American one. It had a better feel to it. I mean, anything that you've had before, like an Agatha Christie or a Poirot or a Miss Marple, has a very standardised like feel. But this was a bit counterculture, sort of out there, because not everybody knew what was going on within the situation. So. And what were your favourite bits in the book?
I think the bit that sticks out for me the most is just the boat crossing.
The boat crossing.
It's so vivid in my mind. I could just imagine it completely, how it looked. You imagine it being foggy and misty, and this lone boat travelling across this water, this very black water to this island. There's something very gothic about it. The island, to me, it almost reminds me of Alcatraz. That kind of in geography and in design. And I think I think the island itself. I mean, to me, my favourite character was the island. I would have loved to explore the island myself. All the things that were left there from the previous owner just sounded so exciting to be able to run around and look and explore. And I think that, to me, that was the best. There weren't any characters that I particularly liked, but all of the characters were very well created.
And they also didn't fit in stereotypes.
No, definitely not.
You don't get that sort of stereotype that's come since One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest came out. Because there's now standardised mental home and mental hospital characters, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, even the doctors. Those doctors, you knew they were going to be almost vilified, but